The narrative of Cassi Davis is one of truth rather than fame or tragedy. When she eventually opened her heart at the age of 59, everyone's perception of her changed. She emphasized to everyone that being strong is about getting back up after every setback, not about never falling. People heard her laugh and saw her grin for years, but few were aware of the silent struggles she was engaged in. When she ultimately told the truth, it wasn't to win people over. Rather, it was to demonstrate that being honest may heal more than being silent. Her transformation from a dreaming small-town kid to one of the most adored faces on television demonstrated what happens when skill and faith come together. Cassi pursued her cause rather than celebrity. A part of her heart was in every syllable she said and every laugh she shared. And she never lost that heart, even being put to the test by illness, anxiety, or weariness. Her generosity became her gift to the world, her laughter became her shield, and her faith became her compass. People didn't perceive weakness when she eventually acknowledged what many had secretly suspected, that she was struggling and that she was human. They witnessed bravery. They witnessed a woman who had the courage to take off the mask that society frequently requires us to wear. By doing this, she authorized others to follow suit. We learn from Cassi Davis that while fame fades, faith endures. The truth is more powerful than that laughing. She demonstrated to us that it's acceptable to take a break, relax, and be yourself. Her honesty has made everyone feel a bit less alone. Thus, her legacy extends beyond her performances. Cassi Davis revealed more than just a secret at the age of 59. She displayed grace, power, and a beauty that can only be found in a heart that has experienced life, love, and healing. And that's what made her tale so memorable. Fans have adored Cassi Davis for years because of her enormous laugh, her kind disposition, and the happiness she brings to every scene. Cassi always made people grin, whether she was being herself in interviews or portraying Payne on House of Payne. She possessed a unique kind of brightness that gives others a sense of security, happiness, and being seen. However, people have now started to question whether there was more to her radiant smile, something she didn't say aloud. At 59, Cassi Davis has now acknowledged what many had long suspected, that her path wasn't always as simple as it appeared. There were painful moments, silent struggles, and lessons about faith and strength hidden under the laughs. Her narrative is one of bravery and honesty rather than scandal or celebrity. The world was moved by Cassi's words when she eventually opened up. Not only did she tell her tale, but she also served as a reminder to everyone that even resilient, content individuals occasionally break, recover, and rise again. This is not a tale of melancholy. It is the tale of a woman who found serenity in being herself and strength in being truthful. Cassi's journey started in Mississippi's cozy little neighborhoods. She was raised in a household that valued community, music, and religion. She was drawn to laughter from a young age because she cherished the way it united people. At religious events, she would perform short sketches that made everyone around her grin. She didn't mean to act. Rather, it developed organically within her. Although her family wasn't wealthy, their love and support were abundant. Cassi's parents instilled in her the belief that faith, generosity, and hard work are more powerful than anything else. She therefore took those teachings with her when she made the decision to pursue her ambition of becoming an actress. With nothing but hope and resolve, she relocated to Atlanta. The early years were difficult. She frequently felt invisible and auditions came and went. Cassi, however, never gave up. She felt that a dream was worth battling for if God had put it in her heart. When she started working with Tyler Perry, it was her big break. Cassi had a voice that could fill a room, a heart that made people feel safe, and a comic touch that came straight from the soul, all of which were evident from the first audition. Audiences fell in love with her character as soon as House of Payne debuted. Cassi was Payne, not simply the character. Genuine, powerful, humorous, and heartfelt. The laughing woman, Cassi Davis was a constant source of joy for her admirers. She was boisterous, upbeat, and vibrant on screen. She was calm, reflective, and profoundly spiritual off-screen, though. She frequently claimed that her faith helped her overcome every obstacle. People were unaware of Cassi's personal troubles, which she kept to herself because she didn't want sympathy or attention. Even when she wasn't feeling her best, she felt that her job was to make other people happy. Hollywood may be challenging, particularly for those who prioritize genuineness over celebrity. Cassi, however, opted for peace over coercion. She concentrated on her trade, her faith, and the people who loved her rather than pursuing the limelight. Even so, followers took note of little details, such as when she appeared worn out or briefly vanished from public view. They were concerned, but every time she came back, she laughed warmly and said, "Don't worry about me. God continues to work on me." They were all unaware of how accurate that was. The battle she held secret. At last, Cassie revealed something very intimate. She had been fighting a silent health battle for years. She wanted strength, not sympathy. She made the decision not to let her disease define who she was, even though it occasionally impaired her energy and made her slow down. Even if her body asked her to take a break, Cassie continued to show up, on set, at events, and for her friends. On certain days, she said, she would pray before going to work, asking God to give her the power she needed to make someone smile that day. And for some reason, he always did. Her trick was to believe she would be okay rather than to pretend she was. Although her closest friends and co-stars were aware of it, she didn't discuss it publicly until lately. She whispered, "I didn't hide it out of shame. I simply didn't want my hardships to overshadow my blessings." Her remarks served as a reminder that vulnerability does not equate to weakness and that even strong women have tender times. It refers to being human. The pivotal moment, the moment that altered everything, then arrived. Cassie eventually made the decision to be honest when she sat down for a private interview. She took a breath, grinned, and uttered the words her admirers will never forget. "Yes, I've been having trouble, but I'm not losing, because I'm still fortunate every day I wake up." She described how the last few years had taught her to slow down, pay attention to her body, and enjoy the little things in life, like calm, laughing, and morning sunshine. She acknowledged that she experienced moments of fear, but her faith helped her stay grounded. "Real strength is crying, praying, and getting back up again," she said. "We think being strong means never breaking down." Millions were moved by her candor. For the first time, Cassie was perceived by the public not only as a humorous actor, but also as a real lady who had persevered through adversity and maintained her smile. Instead of being a confession, her narrative became a message of bravery. The response and assistance. It was an astounding response. In a matter of hours, love, prayers, and words of praise flooded social media. Cassie received gratitude for her courage from admirers worldwide. Friends and fellow performers told tales of her generosity, including how she constantly inquired about others' well-being and encouraged them despite her own struggles. "Cassie, you've always been my sister in faith and laughter," Tyler Perry wrote. "Now more than ever, the world needs your light." Such messages kept coming in. It was a human moment, not simply a famous one. Others had been inspired by Cassie's candor to confront their own challenges and discuss them fearlessly. Her experience served as a reminder to everyone that all fame cannot shield you from suffering, love and faith can. Even those who had never met her felt more connected to her than before. They saw a woman who stood for hope instead of an actress. Thoughts and message. Cassie took some time to consider everything she had been through after telling the truth. She claimed that letting go of fear was the most important lesson she had learned. She clarified, "I thought people only wanted to see me happy for so long. But now I understand that all they want is to see me for who I really am." She started talking more about thankfulness, faith, and the value of mental and emotional well-being. Cassie urged others not to keep their suffering to themselves. "You can't heal what you don't face," she said in a straightforward yet impactful statement. "You'll discover serenity waiting for you once you confront it." She frequently grinned and remarked, "I'm not what I've been through," during interviews and church sermons. "What I've conquered is me." Her admirers adopted that quote as a favorite and frequently posted it on social media. A durable legacy of power. Instead of ending Cassi Davis's narrative, her confession made it more complex. At 59, she represents a woman who transformed suffering into purpose rather than one who was defeated by hardship. She demonstrated that faith isn't about never falling, but rather about having faith in your ability to get back up after a difficult fall. Her integrity became her legacy. She showed others that it's acceptable to speak up and acknowledge your feelings of exhaustion, fear, or uncertainty.